about?
I bump into someone every day that's talking about they hear me on the show with you, or they've just started listening and love it.
You and we've always had a really healthy respect for each other, and I respect what you do.
Hello, Mark. Mr. Pope, 1996.
Oh, my gosh.
What?
Hey, let's give it up right here. This is my guy. Yes. I'm so happy to see you.
Hey, gratitude is a skill, guys. But if you practice, it will give you a joyful life regardless of your circumstances.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Alan Cutler. Honored and pleased to be with you. Honored and pleased that you're spending part of your day now live, or perhaps later on the podcast tonight or tomorrow morning. And folks are listening in different parts of the country. Got a nice note from somebody in North Carolina, a friend, who I didn't know was listening to the show. So thank you. If you hear a different tone of voice, you can already figure it out about what's going on. But my take of what's going on is a little different. With so many people saying that we're at a point like we've never been before, or we're at a point that is unique and different, it's not true. My favorite quote of all time is, history doesn't repeat itself, but men make the same mistakes. That quote was by a gentleman named Bernard Baruch, who was advisor to presidents from Woodrow Wilson to JFK. Matter of fact, there's a Baruch College named after him because he poured the money in it. One of the richest men in the world, one of the smartest men in the world. So without I don't know what word to use about Charlie Kirk. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I don't give a rat's, by the way. Horrendous, awful. I don't know the proper word to use. We're going to get back to Charlie in just a second. Because it's 9/11, and many of you are affected by it still, like 24 years later, I lost my roommate in college. And the weeks before 9/11, another one of my roommates, who went out to Colorado to celebrate my son's wedding, the three of us were together eating steak and drinking beer and having a great time. And then weeks later, 9/11 happened. And it just still hits me. Not like it was 24 years ago, because that was on a different level. But it still hits me today as bad as it did last year and the year before and the year before. Kenny Van Auken, when I went to the World Trade Center, been there a couple of times to see his name up there. It just hits you, and we shouldn't forget. But for those who think that violence is now prevalent versus, gosh, I hate to say the good old days, but I'm going to do it to be sarcastic. It's just not true. Most people don't study history. That's not a knock. It's not a demeaning comment. I just happen to be a history person. That was my major in college, which, if it ever comes up, surprises people. My minor was speech. Still learning how to talk. Not a day for bad jokes. When George Washington was a general, they put together a personal guard for him. People that would be loyal to him. And there was a man named Thomas Dickey, someone who Washington trusted and was vetted. He tried to kill George Washington. Washington had a group called the Life Guard, and they were there to protect him. And then when they hung him in New York, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people there, including a chunk of the army, so that they would know what would happen if treason occurred. That is considered the first time that there was treason in this country. While I was in Colorado, Jimmy, do you think people your age know who Buffalo Bill was?
Probably.
Okay. He was a scout. He was a great entertainer. First show in Madison Square Garden he did, there were 15,000 people there. And he was affected by what happened to his father. He was one of the great entertainers of his time, who was friends with Thomas Edison, who was friends with Teddy Roosevelt, President Teddy Roosevelt. His father was anti-slavery. While he was giving a speech, literally somebody came up and stabbed him to death. Before Lincoln became president, somebody attacked somebody in Congress, and that person was never the same and perished from those injuries in Congress. This has been a violent country since before the country started. I'm not going to go through every one, a public figure who has been killed or attempted. There's no need for that. But growing up as a child, I remember walking on the 5th grade bus when JFK was shot. And the bus driver was a gal with the reddest red hair I can ever remember. And coming home, my mom was crying. And then Bobby Kennedy, who I loved. And Martin Luther King, who stood up for so many. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. The Crosby, Stills, and Nash song, 4 Dead in Ohio, with the shooting on the campus. So this is not new. It becomes more amplified because of today. That's why my favorite quote is, history doesn't repeat itself, but men make the same mistakes. Think about it. I'm not suggesting you start reading history books. I don't know if I have a big picture of what's happening. It is scary if you have children. It is scary if you have grandchildren. Charlie Kirk had 2 young kids and apparently a beautiful wife who was a beautiful person. Many have seen the pictures. I don't care if I agree or disagree with him. And actually, one of the things that I liked about him in doing a bunch of reading, that he would debate the other side. He's giving a presentation at Utah Valley State. And he's gunned down. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know how it stops. I have no idea. And then this really didn't make the news. We spent about 6 days in Evergreen. So while I was gone, my son got married there. And Jimmy, it's a beautiful little town. You would love it. It's in the mountains. It's pretty. It's clean. It's like a perfect little town. We drove by the high school probably about 8, 9 times. A couple of times there were kids outside playing and that kind of thing. It looked like the perfect small community. Really did. I had a shooting there yesterday in Evergreen. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. It could happen here. It could happen anywhere. I wish I had something smart to say. I don't. I wish I had a solution. I don't. I wish I could tell you I wasn't scared for this country. I am. I am. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't. I'm not that smart. But we must be able to disagree and talk to each other. We must be able to disagree and talk to each other. Archie Goodwin put this up on Twitter. No matter how you feel about a person, you shouldn't crack jokes about their death. God don't like ugly, and you all will have to answer him in the end. Don't get it twisted! Exclamation point. Former UK guard Archie Goodwin. The bottom line is this: after we come back from a break, I'm going to do a show. And I'm going to talk sports because that's what I do. And I appreciate LM Communications. And I've said this many times, I have total freedom. Very few people have total freedom. And I appreciate it tremendously. So this little open is very simply from my heart. But what is going on today has been going on for hundreds of years. This is not new. The only thing that's worse is the toys for destruction are much worse. And internet has been a wonderful thing, and internet has been one of the worst things that ever happened to society. And I believe that. Hug your kids, talk to your kids, count your blessings. I wish I had something smart to say. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Your season, your shot. Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown could bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TV props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. Check out the Bengals in Jacksonville. Do you believe the Bengals can outscore everyone? The points will change during the week. New customers, this one is for you. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code LEXSports. That's code LEXSports to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Kentucky only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Down, set, hack, corn dogs coming in for the blitz.
Rick, what are you doing?
Brent, I'm practicing my snack plays for the next football game.
Well, in that case, Uncle Rick, stop by any Clutch Stop and Shop and pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Uncle Ray's potato chips, 8-ounce bags, 2 for $6.
Don't get sidelined without your supplies this football season. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Grounded right side and through. Wave is on. Tatis, shallow right. Friedel to the plate as the tying run. He is saved. De La Cruz deadlocks the game. It's 1-0.
Wow. I tell you what, that throw was right on the money. A great slide by Friedel to the third base dugout side of home plate, and he just did sneak his fingertips across the plate.
First pitch, left field, Laureano coming on. That's down, base hit. De La Cruz scores. Laureano's up the ball. He spikes it in the turf. Hayes goes to third. Andujar, base hit off the pine. It's 2-1 Reds.
Wow. Oh my goodness. You can't make this stuff up. He hit it off the end of the bat. Oh, wow. What a play.
I have a simple question. Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Was Brantley taking laughing gas or something like that? The man,
It seemed like it.
come on. I've listened to him a ton. So have so many of you. You can hear every pitch right here on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. And I've heard him laugh before. That's not like it's the first time. Jimmy, I've never heard him laugh like that. And how about that? For Friedel, the head first slide, and he had the guts, I wish to use another word, to challenge the armor Tatis. Look, I don't know who has the best arm in right field. I really don't. But if there's 4 guys in all of baseball, he's one of the 4 from right field. I think everybody knows that. And he's really accurate. That was a beautiful play. As a matter of fact, I'm watching ESPN's top plays. I'm going, that should be number 1. Really? Not because I want the Reds to win, which I do. That was such a bang, bang play and a long head first slide. It was beautiful. And Andrew Abbott, after going through a slump, 8 big-time innings. So, look, I said that I thought the Reds were done, and I could be wrong. They've teased us before. They're only 2 games back. And ironically, your team, Jimmy, San Francisco, who were dumping people at the trade deadline, they were dumping people. They've gotten hot, and they're also 2 games back, and the Mets suck. Here's the thing about San Diego and their skipper. He did something really dumb. Seriously. Now, the game-winning hit was a little dink-or-dunk by Andujar. Okay, that's a lucky hit. Take it. He's only batting .380 against left-handers. It didn't take a genius to realize that he was going to come in the game to pinch hit. He's batting .380 against left-handers. You know, I wonder if somebody's going to pay him not a ton of money, but platoon him next year and pay him a lot more than the Reds have. He's been a really clutch guy, and I've been waiting for him when he came up for the Yankees. I thought he was going to be a really good player. That was incredible. You set it up so the guy who's your hottest hitter, who basically only plays against lefties, does it. It's crazy. It's really absolutely crazy and shocking that the manager couldn't anticipate that Andujar would be coming up. I don't know how they saw it. Didn't see it. I just don't know. Okay, to Kentucky. We're going to play some Cutler sound, who I think at this point, it'll be shocking if he's not the starting quarterback on Saturday. And basically, if that occurs, he's got the keys to the car. Now, what I don't know, is he going to be the starter because of the injury to Zach's shoulder? Is he going to be the starter maybe a little bit because of that? And it's the perfect setup when you're playing a bad team. Eastern Michigan sucks. They do. Okay? So, matter of fact, Kenny Rice is going to do the show on Monday. And he was joking as if to say, I really don't want to do the show. You have to understand Kenny's humor and how sarcastic we are to each other. And Jimmy said, I'll only do the show if Eastern Michigan upsets Kentucky. That was his way of saying I don't do the show. Then he said, I'll see you Monday. It's Kenny's funny sense of humor. It's a bad football team. Just a bad football team. So when I said the other day that Kentucky will get over 500 yards of total offense, it's not much of a prediction. If you look at Eastern Michigan, they suck. And so my hope is he gets all the snaps. And then my hope is it'll get a little more comfortable for him. The more snaps, more comfort. And what I really liked was something he said the other day where he learned the playbook last year. He's a smart kid, Cutter Boley. But now it's a different thing. Now he's at the point, which is what you hope and expect, that he knows where everybody is supposed to be. And so if you're a wideout and you're lining up in the wrong spot, he can tell you where to go and what to do. And Jimmy, you'll testify to this. When your quarterback can tell you where to go and what to do if you're lining up the wrong way, the credibility of that quarterback goes up. Did you ever, when you played wideout, have a quarterback say, hey, dude, Jimmy, Jimmy, you need to be a little more outside? That ever happened to you?
Yeah, and especially little things like your alignment on the field. You have to be exactly like top of the numbers, bottom of the numbers, hash. Like there's specific places you have to be. And part of that is the quarterback knowing that, because if not, that looks bad on him. If there's a short throw, well, it's maybe the receiver's alignment. He was 2 yards inside. He should have been 2 yards outside. Those little things make a huge difference.
Or as some people like to say, amplifying what you said, those little things are big things. And I'm excited to see Cutler. I really am. And I've said this many times through the years. Okay? There were a lot of really good people around Tim Couch. There were. But Tim Couch and a quarterback can, as most of you know, elevate an entire program. I'm not suggesting, and I don't know how good Cutler Bowley can be. I do honestly believe he has big-time potential. And now we'll see. Tim Couch was one of the most can't-miss players I've ever seen. That's not much of a statement because it was pretty obvious. And I want to put it this way. If Cutler Bowley, and I'm not putting pressure on the kid, if Cutler Bowley becomes the second coming of Tim Couch, the entire program changes. It just does. I really believe, and I've said this before, had Stoops gone with Bo Allen last year when things were bleak, when Brock was messed up, do I think Kentucky would have won more games? Yes. Do I think it's possible Kentucky would have gone to a bowl game? Yes. A great bowl game? No. And look, Bo is doing what he wants. I just don't understand it, and it's not for me to say. He can play quarterback. And if he wants to be a coach, he can be a really good coach. There's no question about that in my mind. But the point is, if Cutler turns out to be something special, one, I predicted they'd go to a bowl game, and two, they're absolutely going to a bowl game. It could make a difference. They were receivers that were open. Zach couldn't get rid of the ball. I'm not putting pressure on this kid that I expect him to be the best thing since sliced bread. No. Do I expect he'll have really good stats on Saturday? Yes. Does that mean he'll have the same kind of stats against the Texas of the world? No. But he's ready. He really is ready. Now let's start playing a couple of clips from Cutler. And this is going to go to clip number one. And think about, he played against Texas, and every snap he's gotten, I believe, has helped him, and so does he. Here's Cutler Bowley, clip one.
I think I had some opportunities on those two drives to make some things happen, but looking back on it, that's a game we should have won. We could have won, and in a lot of ways, and we kind of just shot ourselves in the foot a lot, but it's good to look at and learn a lot of things from going to the rest of SEC play.
How's it been getting some first-team reps in practice this week and getting to really get going with those guys?
It's been good. I'm just preparing like I have every week coming up leading into this. I've always prepared like I'm the starter, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Coach Stoops hasn't said who's going to take the first snaps, but just where do you think you've grown the most since you did get that start in that Louisville game to now? Yeah, just kind of my overall maturity and comfortability being and running and managing the offense. Just kind of being just a leader out there on the field, being an extension of Coach Hamden, being able to operate the offense the way he wants it to operate, and be able to do the things that he wants us to be able to do offensively. I feel like I've grown in a ton of areas, but specifically just being like a captain and a commander on the field for sure.
Do I remember that Zach and Cutler actually took a hot yoga class together or something like that? Somehow, and I've always found this fascinating, two guys who are attempting to battle for the same position oftentimes actually get along and help each other. To me, and that's not always true, but it's true a lot. And it's often very sincere. And the backup who wants to play often will help the number one guy. And that happens, I believe, more than people realize. And I've always found it fascinating. And it's a credit to the young people who do that. It's not true in every business. Oh, TV, radio, you got to be kidding me. And so, these guys spend a ton of time together. To have the silent treatment or something like that, and the obvious, they have so much in common. So this has something to do with Cutler, clip number 2, and Zach.
How do you and Zach push each other to become better?
Zach's got a ton of things I've learned, and I'm still learning from him. Just ton of offense, ton of like scheme stuff, whatever. There's a lot of things. We just push each other to compete every day. I think that's the biggest thing. When you have someone there pushing you to compete and make you a better dude and a better player every single day, you're just going to naturally get better.
Competing against each other, making each other better. It's a beautiful thing. Gene Abel coming up next. Hey, don't forget DraftKings. You're seasoned, you're shot. The NFL season is rolling. Every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown score to anytime TV props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. I'm not telling you what to do, but I like the Bengals outscoring Jacksonville. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to Kentucky, Eastern Michigan stinks. And I'm actually surprised. I don't figure these points spread out, but I thought it would be over 30 points. I don't bet, but if I did, I would bet on Kentucky. Do not listen to me. Do not listen to me. It's 23.5. It could change. Check out the DraftKings Sportsbook for an NFL game or a college game or any game, and the lines change, as you know. I am not giving you betting advice at all. At all. Just telling you what I like. No advice. I'm not smart enough to give you betting advice. New customers, this is for you. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code LEXSports. That's code LEXSports to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE. 18 plus. Kentucky only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. Count your blessings with everything going on. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrell family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties.
Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank, time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Down, set, hack. Corn dogs coming in for the blitz.
Rick, what are you doing?
Brent, I'm practicing my snack plays for the next football game.
Well, in that case, Uncle Rick, stop by any Clutch Stop and Shop and pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Uncle Ray's potato chips, 8-ounce bags, 2 for $6.
Don't get sidelined without your supplies this football season. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
I think I'm just more confident in everything I'm doing. That's why I'm more vocal leader. I'm not like, that was something I need to work on, but, my confidence in how I know the playbook, how I know the plays, I can start telling people what to be because I know where they're supposed to be at. I can get things right. I can get people set up because I know what's going on. I'm just more confident and more fluid in the offense.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. I had a few people tell me they were watching on YouTube TV. ESPN Sports Radio 1300, different folks listening in different parts of the country, which we say thank you, thank you. The YouTube thing is not growing quickly. The podcasts are growing quickly. The online is growing quickly. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And our ratings are growing. So it's a beautiful thing. It's always a beautiful thing talking to my friend Gene Abel, retired sports editor of the Lexington Herald-Leader. Gene, how are you?
Doing great, Alan. How are you doing?
Let
me say a couple of things. Listen to your opening monologue. That was strong. We're here to talk sports. But more importantly, I just want to congratulate you and your family on what sounds like a majestical weekend in Colorado. And congratulations to all of you and wish everybody well. Sounds like it was wonderful.
It was like perfect. The families get along great. And I've gotten to know her uncles and stuff. We've become buddies. And these kids have such beautiful friends. The vibes were just great. Thank you for saying that.
That's great.
Thank you. Thank you. I like how you said, Gene, you've done the show so much. I want to say something. We can call this the Gene and Alan show.
Hey, I know how to time it now.
Let's put it this way. You've heard that old Groucho line, outside the improvement, they'll never know the difference.
Yeah.
All good. I'm excited to see Cutler on Saturday. They're not saying officially. I will be shocked is probably a little too strong. I'll be very surprised if he's not the starter. And this seems to be the perfect setup. You got a cupcake. Eastern Michigan's a bad team.
Yes, they are.
So the reason why I'm putting it this way, I don't want to negate anything that this young man might do stat-wise, or Kentucky for that matter. But, I also don't want to go gaga when they get 520 yards or something like that, because I think it's very realistic because they stink. But I do think tasting success is important. I do think every snap this kid gets is important after Stoops gives the kids a couple of days off, like all coaches do, whether they're back probably Wednesday or something like that, and he gets all the first snaps. That's another whole bunch of days with the first team to get him more comfortable and more comfortable and more comfortable. I have no idea if this was Stoops' plan all along. I don't think so. But it seems like the perfect setup, don't you think, Gene Abel, retired outstanding sports editor, the Lexington Herald-Leader, don't you think it's the perfect time to stick Cutler in and let's see what the kid can do?
After the game Saturday, I texted a couple of friends of mine and immediately said Cutler will be starting this week. It makes sense in a whole lot of ways. Having said that, I do think they should start the quarterback that they think is going to win the most games of the remaining 9. Because the advantage of this is the week to start to build some confidence, to the entire offense to start to get some confidence. I mean, if they can't blow this team away, then I'm not sure there's a whole lot to watch the rest of the year. This is a great learning experience. Then you get the week off. I think they have decided that is Cutler. I will be shocked if it's not Cutler starting. Zach something's just missing. It's a strange 2 games. If you look at the first game in his very first drive, he made a nice pass, I think, to Rodriguez. He hit Macklin for a nice grade. And then he had that long pass that was called. The play was reviewed. He looked poised. He looked accurate. Next drive after the interception, they score. And I haven't seen that guy since then. His body language just doesn't look good. Something's just out of whack. And I think they need to go with Cutler. I think they will go with Cutler, and this is a good time for it.
I have a theory I can't prove. You ready?
You have a theory? Yes. I think I'm ready for it.
Okay. You took your guy pills this morning. Did you get an extra cup of coffee or something like that?
No, just stuck to my normal.
Okay. I learned about this in the 1980s covering Kentucky basketball, which means you might have learned in the 70s.
Ooh. Okay.
Seriously.
I was following them and covering them earlier than you. I'm not older than you. So for the record, let's go ahead. We're the same age.
Boom, boom, shot back. Seriously, I was initially surprised, and I'm going blank on names, but there were multiple guys that when they became seniors, when guys used to stay 4 years and that kind of stuff, there were seniors who didn't initially take that next step. Maybe they had the year before when you anticipate they would, and they were feeling pressure because they wanted to go to the NBA. And their shot clock was winding down at Kentucky. And you're thinking about the pros and an agent and handling yourself and your draft situation and stuff like that. So there's pressure. Now you got Zach. I think it's kind of similar. Kid's going to be 25. He's a man. He's played college football for 20 years. To be that old, he's going to have a great year to get drafted. A great year. And I think he's feeling the pressure because some of the things he's doing, for example, not stepping up in the pocket and stuff like that, I don't care. Incarnate Word where he threw a ton. You're not doing that there. And you're just not doing it there and coming up with the yardage that you do. So I think something is off. He has hesitated to throw. At times, receivers are not open. At times, receivers are open. He wasn't getting rid of the ball. And I have seen in the past young people feel pressure because they know if I don't do this, I can't make money doing it. And now the time is now. And it can affect a lot of people, Gene.
A couple of things. It's interesting you say that about the basketball because I experienced the exact same thing. When I started covering Kentucky actually in the late 70s full time, and that was one of the first things I learned in the 80s, and it was mostly from basketball players that often you found their junior year was almost their better year because the senior year, because back then very few people were leaving, or if any, their senior year all the pressure was on them and they had to produce. And it was like you got 3 months of what they prepared their whole life to try to do. They got to do it in 3 months. And sometimes they would start out slow and then they'd sort of relax and they'd be okay. I guess that applies to Zach, but I mean, he's a seventh-year player, and I'm not sure the NFL is something that's ever really been. I'm sure it's something he's aspired to, but it's a little hard for me to fathom that him worried about going to the NFL is putting extra pressure on him. But something does not look right, and they just do not look in rhythm. Now, having said that, I do not think. I don't know that they have a receiver on this team to this point that I think should be a number one or two receiver on any SEC competitive team. Now, maybe somebody will emerge and there will be somebody get catches because somebody's got to get catches. It's like he's going to score double figures. That doesn't mean they'd be scoring doubles on a competing team, but somebody will be getting catches. But I have not seen that receiver yet.
I agree with the receivers, and I stand by what I've been saying forever. Unless you're from the state of Kentucky and you're a really good receiver, why the hell would you come here?
Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to the head man because they have never established a program that passing. I mean, they've had some quarterbacks have good years, but I mean, if they had if they ever had a great passing offense under Stoops, and I'm not, I mean, he's won in other ways, but that has never been there.
Let's try it this way. If in the transfer portal, Stoops and his staff were able to bring in 2 wide receivers equal to the 2 running backs that they brought in, they would have a number one receiver. And so I'm going to compliment Stoops because in the part of the game he loves doing, I can't tell you how many times, Gene, after he got here, he kept on saying the statistics. I forgot the number, but the statistics, were overwhelming that if you in an SEC game ran for 1 yard more than the other team, the percentage of winning was astronomically high. And Stoops, I believe, kept on pointing it out sort of to defend himself to the media and his style. But think about it. If you bring in Daddle and McCowan, and you bring wide receivers of that level coming in here, you have wide receivers. I'm not knocking these kids because every one of these kids could play in a lot of other places and be successful. But yeah, you bring up a great point, Gene. Is there a number one receiver on this team that could go to another SEC school and be a number one receiver? Now, do I know every single roster? I do not. I can't tell you Mississippi State's roster. Okay. But my thought is absolutely unequivocally not. Let me go one more, and then I want you to respond. I think there are a lot of teams in the upper echelons. Hey, Brown isn't starting for LSU. I think there are a lot of teams in the SEC that their third, and I'm not disrespecting these kids, the third and fourth receiver is much better than any receiver on this year's Kentucky football team. Agree or disagree?
All you have to do is look at the Kentucky roster. The guy they think is supposed to be their best receiver could not. Where was he on the Alabama depth chart?
Well, if he was doing so well, they probably would have paid him more money. Probably would have stayed there.
That's correct. I mean, I completely agree with that. And as you started that saying, if you're in the portal and you're looking for a place to go and you're a really good receiver, which, you only want them hopefully if they're really good and you want to get to the next level in college, which would take you to the next level after that, what is it that would be attractive about Kentucky right now?
Sean McDonough had an interesting comment, and this used to burn me a little bit, but I understand life isn't equal, that oftentimes the network guys, and it's not like they're smarter, and I'm not being disrespectful, but they will get more information from coaches than the local media often gets, more often than not. And he made a comment during the game. I think Sean McDonough is one of the best TV announcers of the last 30 years. Plus, as you know, his dad, I never met his dad. His dad was one of the great NFL writers of all time, probably number one during his time, and respected tremendously for being fair and honest and all that. And you're nodding your head because you remember his dad. But he basically said, and when you think about it, it makes sense. First, you have a school that doesn't throw the ball without a reputation. Second of all, you're trying to get transfer portals in, and who the hell's the quarterback? So now you got a school that doesn't have a reputation for throwing. Initially, who is going to be the quarterback? How can you attract? As a matter of fact, I was impressed that Macklin stayed. And I actually thought he would be a much better receiver last year, and I thought he would be the guy that stepped forward. Maybe he still will, but he still hasn't because he's got a little shakeability. I think he's got good hands, and I'm baffled why he's not better. That's not the point. The point is this: why would you come here if you're a great receiver from Florida? Why?
There is no reason. I mean, I can't give you a good reason why a receiver come home. Then that's not why they're built. They're not built that way. You can almost ask the same question about a quarterback. Cutler is from Kentucky, and that was a huge advantage. And like you said, getting a receiver, that's how they were able to get Dante Key. But it's not an attractive place for somebody who wants to play in a passing game and get ready for the NFL.
I don't see it changing. Stoops is here. Can you see it changing?
I don't think that's Stoops' style. No, I do not see that changing.
Okay, the Stone Sanders kid. Sanders or Saunders?
Right. I know you're talking from Pennsylvania.
From Pennsylvania. If I'm pronouncing his name wrong, I'm sorry. But, Brown had 8 catches last week for LSU. Didn't have a game over 6 catches last 2 years at Kentucky. Hat tip to Jimmy. Great stuff, Jimmy. And you know what? When they threw that long pass to him in the first game where he got screwed, it should have been a touchdown. They have to do a better job of figuring out what in my eyes, it was a touchdown. Okay, that's not the point. And my thing was, why don't you go back to him and stuff like that? Brown helped himself by leaving. And I want Kentucky to win. There's no question about it. No question about it. And so the kid from Pennsylvania, all these big-time schools wanted him. He said rewrite all these records in the state of Pennsylvania. And he comes here. And I don't know what they did to convince him. I'm going to assume, and I've read a bunch of stuff on him, relationships are huge, which is a tremendous credit to Bush Hamdan and Stoops and stuff like that. But I'll be honest, I was surprised he wanted to come. The Pontotoski kid from Cincinnati, I get it, because he's going to play baseball and football and he wants his family around, and it's an easy drive from Cincinnati. That makes sense to me. Okay, he's from Cincinnati, he's from Ohio, and that's fine. But to me, he's like a Kentucky kid. That's like saying Sean Woods is from Indiana, but he really was a Kentucky kid. So I get that. But getting a kid from Pennsylvania, 5-star who everybody wanted, and coming here baffled the heck out of me. Great for Kentucky, but it just baffled me. And look, the kid's not stupid. He knows what the numbers are.
That one did surprise me. I don't know enough about how good he is. He obviously had good numbers. But to me, it's sort of like the offensive coordinators. And first of all, I don't want to be picking on Stoops, because Stoops has won more games than anyone here, and he's done it in his style, and he's done it with a strong defensive, good running game style. But he has never had a sophisticated passing game. If you go through his offensive coordinators, going back to Neil Brown, I don't even remember. After that, there were 2 or 3 of them that they all had, he consistently hired people that had a background, including Eddie Grant, of throwing the ball a lot. When they got here, that just didn't happen. And after so many years, the common denominator becomes Stoops. Again, I'm not criticizing. That's just not been the style of play that he has created at Kentucky and the style of offense they've had.
So here's what I thought, and so far I've been wrong. You ready? You always like it when I say so far I've been wrong. Look at this smile. If you're watching YouTube, that's the best smile I've seen you have in a while doing the show. I appreciate it. I really thought, and maybe it's in the back of their mind, you got a lot of tight ends who can block. Okay. And I really thought that this would be more of a 2 tight end offense, which does a couple of things. Takes one of the receivers off the field. It gets you a better blocker. And one of the things about a 2 tight end offense that isn't talked about enough, because so many guys are pinched up close to the line of scrimmage, now you got 2 really, really good running backs. And the third guy is probably really good too. And the fourth guy we might not see again. And if what he's being accused of is true, I hope they never see him again. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. I'm not going there. That's not what this point is about. But you get past the line of scrimmage with you're now having 8 guys in the box. People say, oh, no, if you have 8 guys in the box, you can't run the ball. It's BS. Because if you put tight ends now and you get a crease and you get a hole, there ain't as many people, and I'm saying ain't on purpose, to tackle you. And so I'm looking at this personnel and I'm saying, go 2 tight ends. I'll go one step further, Gene. There are times I'd use 3 tight ends. Pinch it in. You get off tackle and you get a space. This could be a wonderful offense this way. And then occasionally throw the ball, or throw the ball to the backs, or dump it off to a tight end. Because guess what? This is the kind of offense that other teams don't see much. And remember the wide tackle 6 with Jerry Claiborne. I can't believe I pulled that out. That was so unique defensively that other teams couldn't prepare for it until the week of. And there were times, plus they had some tough, smart kids, which always helps. Light kids who weren't as fast as they needed to be, but they were tough kids. Had tough kids under Claiborne. And it created such a mismatch because guys weren't used to it, helping them out. So I'm looking at this, okay, I didn't play the game, but I've been studying this stuff forever. Say, okay, if wideout is not my strength, Gene Abel, which it's not, quit BSing everybody. Go 2 and 3 tight ends. Go 2 and 3 tight ends. How about this? How about a fullback and 2 tight ends? And you know what? Punch him in the mouth. Punch him in the mouth. Punch him in the mouth.
I fully expect them to do that. And I expect them to do that. I mean, perfect sense. That's what it seems like they should be doing. And it isn't rare. I mean, the NFL is doing a lot of that too. I mean, going 2 tight ends, especially if those are your best players, which from what I've seen, Rodriguez and Caddis are 2 of their best threats. There's nothing wrong with going 2 tight ends and chunking away and eating up clock and getting 8-yard gains and 12-yard gains and getting more people up that can block. I have no problem with that at all. And it seems like a logical thing for them to be doing. And I assume they will be.
I'm sorry for stepping in, Gene. You're right. It's happening more and more in the NFL, depending on what's going on, but not in the SEC. Not in the SEC. And I honestly believe that, okay, a coach's job is to do what? You correct me if I'm wrong, in your humble opinion. When did you become humble? It's like me almost becoming humble.
Let's don't go too far here.
All right. You're right. Whatever you have, you play to your strengths. By the way, Boyer can catch the ball. Apparently, they were surprised how good he can catch the ball. He's a blocker. He's 6'7". They got some tight ends that'll block you now. And I'm going, okay, if this is what you have, look, I would rather see the Halmami offense. But the truth is, I just want these kids to win because, that's just the way it is. Take your strength and knock them in the mouth. Take your strength and knock them in the mouth. And I don't think they're taking their strength. I really don't.
I mean, it looks like to me what they've been doing is trying to, they know they don't have receivers that can get a lot of separation, so they're trying to out scheme everybody. And that may be fine, but then out scheming everybody led to what just looked like a calamity the last 5 minutes of the first half the other day because they're constantly changing, constantly making switches. I've for 40 years been a long believer in any sport, especially football. Figure out what you do right, and do it, and stick with it.
Okay, I'm looking on purpose on the sheet for the Toledo Rockets. And all teams do this. I wonder how many fans know it. Instead of having 11 starters, they have more. So you have a wideout X, wideout F, wideout Z. So yet with the tight ends, there's only 2 listed. It's a way to try to keep kids happy because they're not starting 3 wideouts, but they got Macklin in the Z, they got Kendrick Law in the F, and they Hardly Gilmore in the X. And then they have 2 wide receivers underneath each. So all of a sudden, you have 9 wide receivers on the depth chart. What makes no sense to me is that with a tight end, there's only 2. Willie Rodriguez and then Mikael Skinner, who's not going to be the second guy playing and probably not going to be the third guy playing. And Caddis, excuse me, I stand corrected. I apologize. I read this wrong. I humbly apologize. They have 2 things listed for the tight ends and 3 for the wideouts. So basically, let me fix this, please. There are 6 wideouts listed on the depth chart. There are 5 for the tight ends. Tight ends are F and Y. I misread this. My bad. So they have Caddis and Boyer as the Y, and Elijah Brown, who can block you now, also with the Y, and then they have Willie Rodriguez and Mikael Skinner, depending upon the formation, what they do. Pardon me for getting that wrong, but I wanted to correct it. Point is this, you got better tight ends and you got wideouts. Why the hell don't they use them?
You're not going to get any disagreement with me, but it's always baffling to me how often with the Kentucky offense, you're in the midseason and you still don't even know what their identity is. And except they do like to run the ball, but they don't really do it very well sometimes. And I mean, after 2 games, one against an okay opponent, once against a really solid opponent, do you know what their personality is on offense? Do you know what their personality was on offense last year, the year before? I mean, we know they want to run the ball, but when they line up, 4th quarter, game's tied, what are they going to do? Do you know?
No.
It seems like they'll run for 5 yards on first down, then all of a sudden they start throwing the ball, and then or vice versa. There just doesn't. To me, they always seem to lack offensive rhythm, and I'm not putting that. I mean, I think it's a combination of coaching, lack of talent, obviously playing against tough teams, but it just seems to be there every year. I mean, there's no rhythm to what they're doing on offense.
Let's end on a light note. I found this, not really funny, but humorous. So people complain about referees in America. They complain about them all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
Slovenia lost to Germany 99-91. Slovenia's star is Luka. He had 39 points, 20 rebounds, and 7 assists. I think it was 10. I think I wrote it down wrong. Anyway, he had 39 points and 7 assists. So he gets a technical foul early in the game. And he claims that the only thing he said was, come on, to the refs. And it's a quarterfinal game for the championship. You know, I'm going to believe him. And here's this quote. To not even get a warning, honestly, I don't know what the referees were thinking. What do we do to get the referees from being so darn, I almost use another word, thin-skinned? It's got to the point, it's been like this for a long time with TV and social media. It's amplified mistakes, all those kinds of things. I get it, but that's your job. That's what you do. You're supposed to be able to handle it. Some of these technical fouls in basketball is just absolutely obtuse. It's ridiculous. I mean, you got to be able to, look, I don't think you should go too far. Okay. And sometimes you got to tell a guy to, but this is absurd. If Luke is telling the truth, then I have no reason not to believe him.
I would agree on all points. That was your light end?
Well, I was hoping you would have some wisdom, which I don't, as to how.
I don't know how you fix that, because that's like everything that else is going on. I don't know how you fix a lot of this stuff, but I agree with you. That's crazy, and they are thin-skinned, and the inconsistency. What gets baffling to me, but I've also said this before, probably said it on your show. It's very hard to find referees now at the bottom, and you can't get them good at the top if they don't work their way up for 20 or 30 years. And who the heck wants to go for what little you get paid in front of hostile parents and people and do that anymore?
Well, I have a theory. I'll run it by you really quick, and I've said this before. Take a company like a Nike or somebody like that, right? And this is the construction of it. You send out a mass email on all levels of college, not just Kentucky. Hey, there could be a great referee in the makings in Transy. You get all these kids, men and women, okay? And you send out a mass email to all the sports information directors at every school in the country that plays basketball. And you have a camp, maybe at a couple places in the country. And it's a tryout camp. And now the leagues, because a referee's getting $50 for high school games with all the crap that goes on. I mean, the year after I retired, I did high school basketball play-by-play. No disrespect to the old guys who were doing it. There were no young people. Young people don't want to be driving for all that time, for $25 or $50, whatever the heck it is, with paying.
And bad weather and this.
Bad weather, fans that can be bad, spending a lot of time driving. So you have to incentivize them. And you have to put a program together that you will subsidize these young people who want to get into refereeing. And then when you think they're ready, somebody is judging their tape, probably a lot of people, and you move them up to small college. And they're doing it with the hope of maybe making the SEC, whereas, you can make a pretty damn good living. And so they are not attracting young people. And you have to attract young people. And so why would somebody 22 years old who wants to start with their life for 2 nights a week make $100 and their whole night is blown? It's tough. And so they're not developing young officials. And until they figure out a way to develop young officials, this is only going to get worse because, Dean, some of these guys are retired and going to retire and have been retiring. And I'm not going to mention names, but there were a couple guys doing high school games that really couldn't get up and down the court. But they're veterans and they know what they're doing and they have nobody to replace them.
And I know people that were doing it, in their 40s and 50s to stay in shape, to stay busy, and sort of to donate their time to try to help out, youth sports. But the appeal of that for those people sort of left when it started getting nasty. Although, I have one question for you, since you were all over high school sports. So are there a lot more incidents now, or is social media, because of social media, do we see more of them now?
There's a yes and yes. There are more incidents, and social media has amplified it.
Okay.
It's a double-edged sword that is amplified on both levels. Now, if your point also is, and I will agree with this, that there were more incidents that we didn't find out about, absolutely. But in today's society, there's more of a I'm going to get in your face routine. Right. And so it's double-edged the bad way. And I wish I had a solution, but you have to find a way to develop young people to entice them to come in the game with the hope, that, look, really quick, do you believe, and I do, you take a young person, male or female, you got to develop men and female refs. I'm good with women refereeing SEC men's game. I'm good with men refereeing SEC women's game. If you know basketball and you've played basketball, and we'll move on after you comment, I really believe in 2 years, because you've played the game. You've played the game with somebody instructing you like you can in high school. Yeah, they can't do that. In 2 years, you should be able to ref small college. And if you can't, you shouldn't do it. I don't think it's that difficult to develop. I really don't. If you school these kids like going to class.
You may be right on that. I don't know. To me, the difference is when you said, people get in your face. When they used to get in your face, they stood behind home plate or they stood in the stands and they yelled, you crooked ref, and nobody could hear them except the 10 people around them. And now they're waiting. It seems like they're waiting for them when they come off the field to threaten them. The level of it is so much different. But you may be right. I mean, they certainly need to do something. They've got to get people, make that a more attractive position and get more people involved in it.
Gene, as always, thank you, sir. Is there something on your mind you didn't expound on?
No, are the Reds cooked? 2 weeks ago, we had them cooked. Are they cooked?
I
think 16 games left.
16 games left. I thought they were cooked. I'm not going to shill from what I said. Oh, real quick. I screwed up. I know Darryl Bird is waiting. I screwed up with Green. You want to give me a shot? I made this worst mistake I've made predicting baseball in probably the last 15 years, and you remembered it and I didn't. You want to say it?
Oh, yeah, we're good. You know it. I know it. We're right.
That was really good, Gene.
I don't have the. You admitted it. I was right.
You were right.
Yep.
You know what? I got a pain in my side saying that you were right.
But can they get in the play? Are they cooked?
I think they're cooked.
Okay.
And I hope I'm wrong.
I think the next three, they got the Athletics, and I think the other two teams have the Rangers and the Dodgers. If they could gain 2 ground game, if they could gain in this series, maybe they got a chance because it's still really hard for them down the stretch. I think they got the Brewers, Cubs, the Cardinals, maybe the Pirates in there, but it's not over to say that. Okay.
Yes, it's not over, and I hope I'm wrong. Thank you, Gene. Gene Abel.
Give Darryl my best, and you take care. Congratulations again on your weekend.
Thank you, Gene.
All right, bye-bye.
Standing sports editor of the Lexington Herald Leader, kind enough to join us. Thanks for your kind words. Hey, don't forget about the Quantrill Auto Group. They have a great deal. Subaru, you know the Outback is special. I think you do. So check this out. 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72, go for it. 72 months, 1.9%. It's a great deal. 0% for 36 months. You're listening in Louisville. Here's why you come down. The Quantrill Auto Group is a great dealer. So it's worth the drive to come down. They treat you wonderfully. The Quantrill family of dealerships, right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise to get you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks. No gimmicks. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Down, set, hack, corn dogs coming in for the blitz.
Rick, what are you doing?
Brent, I'm practicing my snack plays for the next football game.
Well, in that case, Uncle Rick, stop by any Fudge Stop and Shop and pick up assorted Reese's king-size candy bars, 2 for $4, and Sour Patch or Swedish Fish peg bags, 2 for $6.
Don't get sidelined without your supplies this football season. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out.
Clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties.
Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if auto owner's insurance makes sense for you.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1300 and 92.5. WLXG Lexington and LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
Hey, don't forget about my friends at Blue Lotus Health. Ramon took care of me today. Acupuncture, 859-533-0914. 859-533-0914. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist. He helped me a ton. Ramon's a great guy on Versailles Road. Please check him out. It's great for your health, in my opinion, and you are worth fixing and helping your health. Here's a guy who's been covering Kentucky for a ton. Daryl, I always forget. What year did you start? Daryl Bird, who's in charge of the Cat's Paws, a very, very respected publication going back to when Oscar started it about 1,000 years ago, Oscar Combs. Hello, Daryl.
How are you, sir? You doing all right?
I'm doing great. I mean, our son got married last week. The wedding was it's we are lucky and blessed to a beautiful young lady who's really smart and they're great kids. And I say kids, come on, Daryl, I'm older than you, but
Yeah,
we're
I know. I hear
both
you.
old. But these young people are trying to improve individually and collectively. And it you know, as a dad, you know, it's just wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Mr.
Been
Bird.
there twice. It's wonderful.
Okay. You both your kids are married?
Yep, both are married.
How many grandkids you got?
Just two.
Well,
Got
okay.
to have lunch today with the 5-year-old in kindergarten, so that was cool.
Oh, that's really cool. You know,
Yeah, that is neat.
the smiles are the best, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Yep. You better believe it.
You know, I can feel your joy coming through the phones.
He's a mess. Well, they're both a mess, but that's all right.
That's okay. They got to be kids,
Yep.
you know. You can't have everything wrong with that.
Right.
I want to start with something not football for a second because I purposely pulled this back up again. And I'm knowing you, I know you've seen it. Jaden Quaintance, so he's working on a knee, whatever, and he's got big weights on his shoulder and doing not all the way down because he doesn't need to, especially with knee injury anyway. But he's going deep down on his bad knee and balancing stuff and doing running. I know you've seen it. He's sprinting in the weight room and then jumping off 2 feet and now jumping on a big box that, sorry, Daryl, neither one of us could jump up on.
True.
and e-bends he's doing, I'm going to guess it's got to be close to 150 pounds. And you know how these new weights things are. You can put it around your neck and do a deep knee bend that way and hold front. The equipment is so much more sophisticated than we were kids. But I'm looking at this and I'm going, whenever they decide for him to come back, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing there. And you could look at it and say, wow, he looks like he could play tomorrow. Well, that's different. It's very different than a controlled environment where you're watching the exercises versus playing in a basketball game when suddenly you have to stop and adjust without any warning whatsoever. So, yeah, they're doing the right thing building it so that when he does get in the game and has to make those abrupt changes he doesn't see coming until the split second, he'll be ready for it. But, yeah, it's gonna be frustrating. We've been through it so many times with Calipari teams watching the guy that looks like he's healthy enough to play, but never gets onto the floor, and it takes forever, it felt like, for someone to get back out there. And it's going to kind of feel the same way because I don't know about you, but I think Jaden Quaintance is the difference between Sweet 16 and Final Four. They're just going to have to be patient, fans. It's not easy for UK fans. Be patient and watch how fast they improve once he does come back. And it may be a blessing in disguise because he won't have a full seasons of wear and tear on him once he does get back, that he'll still be considerably fresh when March does roll around.
Daryl, I'm ashamed of you. Do you know what word you just used for fans? Do you
What?
know what you just did?
Patience.
Daryl, come on, dude.
Yeah,
What year did
I
you
know.
start in Kentucky? Plus, you're a Kentucky boy. What year did you start?
Yeah, I know. I think I covered my first game in '81, I believe.
Okay, we started this.
Just an about the
Okay.
same time.
Yeah, about the same time. Okay, it's just kind of funny
Yeah.
because I've always thought. Now, tell me if this is going too far. And come on, Daryl, we've known each other forever. You'll tell me you disagree. You ready?
Yep.
In the Commonwealth, in the state of Kentucky, the word patience is a 4-letter word.
Yeah, you're right. It is, and it's just they're just going to have to learn it and accept it, and it's going to get frustrating because without him in the lineup, they may take some L's that you don't want to see coming down the line. That well, if he'd been out there, true, but he ain't. So you're just going to have to wait till he's ready. It's no one has said it, and people got tired of hearing John Calipari say it over and over and over. But this kid has a very, very bright future beyond his time in Lexington, and you're not going to do anything to mess that up. Even if it means delaying till December, January before he actually puts on a UK uniform.
Look,
That's the way it is. The way it should be.
Yes, and I know what I would do, and this wouldn't be popular. Let's say the doctors approve he can come December 15th. You know what I would say?
Yes.
Wait till
after Christmas?
Yeah, wait till after Christmas. Because just keep on doing those workouts. Because, one, you have to look at the kid's, you just have to look at the kid's future. And the second thing is, what's wrong with doing these exercises for another 2 weeks?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
The one thing I like about the December idea is that's when the semester's out and they're typically playing just one game a week. So maybe that'd be a good time to run him out and test him, and then you've got 7 days to look at him, see how he did before you try to bring him back again.
Can't argue with
that.
There's
that side of the argument. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of Saturday games and nothing
before
in between.
the SEC rigor gets in there. Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing, and this is going to happen. Let's say the kid comes back December 15th. Okay. I'm going to negate the first 5 or 6 games. Let's say Adrenaline, he has a great first game and has a slip and stuff like that. You can't expect him on December 15th to be as good as you expect him to be February 15th. And I think there's going to be some unfair pressure on this young man who you can do all these exercises in the world, but Daryl, you know this like the back of your hand. Doing that and game speed are 2 different things. So, it'd be great to have the kid in the lineup, but I mean, I'm going to go 2 weeks. If he has a bad game, I'm going to go, so what? Seriously, so what? Now, 6 weeks later, if he has a bad game, then you kind of look at it differently. That's how I look at it.
Yep. I'll bring him back December 19th. just to drive Patino crazy.
Well,
here's my debut against you, and he goes off for 20 and 10. Yeah.
Gosh, if he does that, people will go nuts.
Yep.
I
would.
Michael Marino is going to be better than we thought when we watched him in the Sweet 16. And I think he's going to be better quicker. I think he's got a maturity level as a person. I think he's had a great role model in his older brother. Let's put it this way. If his older brother was as tall as he is, his older brother would be playing pro ball in the NBA. You remember him and Scott and played that 10 year with a bad foot. And I don't have any doubt in my mind. And he had a great career at Eastern. And it's probably the smartest thing because you can go to a bigger school and not play. He was this really smart and hell of a player and a wonderful young man. And Marino, the younger brother, is a wonderful young man. I think he's very mature, and I think that's all helped with the counsel he's gotten.
Yeah, and that's the other flip side of this that you don't want to think about is instead of bemoaning the fact you don't have Quaintons, think of how much better Brandon Garrison and Malachi are going to be by being forced to play more until he does get back. When he does come back, suddenly your front court's really loaded. So that's the upside, as always.
Daryl, sorry for stepping you. I have no idea, but I'm not negating the possibility, not predicting it, that Marino will move ahead of Garrison.
I would be shocked, but it's possible. We'll see.
Yeah, I just think this kid.
He has improved tremendously. I'll give you that because I watched The Sweet 16, the year Lyon County won it, and that little Lyon County team wore him out. He got his 10 rebounds, but they eliminated him being a factor in that game very, very well. Did a great job on him in that situation and won that game and then went on to win the title. He must have taken that to heart because he hit a much better senior year.
Not only that, one of the things I like
after that game.
One of the things I liked about his senior year, he was at Sweet 16. He was sprinting down the court, sprinting, much better shape. Not saying he was lazy.
Probably a good wake up call the year before. Probably was.
I bet it was because he really wanted to win the Sweet 16, friends and all that kind of stuff. And I saw a guy that tall hustling hard. It was very, very impressive. Okay, so before we get you want to give a plug for your magazine? I'm sure you're still selling it, and it's still early enough this season. If people haven't picked it up, why don't you tell everybody where to pick it up? Because it's always been a really special publication.
Yeah, actually, I appreciate that. ShopCatspaws.com is the easiest way to get a hold of the magazine and both yearbooks. The football yearbook is out and still selling, and the basketball yearbook is going to press in about 2 weeks, ready or not. I'm chasing that deadline to the wire, but that'll be out in early October, and we've gotten hundreds of orders without even advertising that it's coming yet. So it's all good in that area.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise. It's called reputation.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You're expecting, like the rest of the world, I'm sure that Cutler will start at quarterback Saturday against a really bad Eastern Michigan team.
He has to. God, please tell me that they have figured out that for the sake of Zach Calzada, you have to start Cutler Bowl. You've already said he's going to play. You've already said you want to see him, but you've also said both quarterbacks are going to play. If you trot Zach out there as the starter, they will rain down boos. Not on him, not him personally, but just given the way the season's off the started is, and you've said you want to see him, guess what? So does everybody else. So you have to start Cutler in that game. Now you rotate every other series. That's up to you how you do it, but you have to start him. But this is such a can of worms. And you and I have been through this a lot of seasons. And the old argument is it's old because it's true. If you have two quarterbacks, you don't have any. Can you imagine if Cutler comes out and leads a 80-yard touchdown drive the first series, and then the next series you trot Zach out because that was your plan, was to go every other? Oh, they'll boo again. They'll rain down. So I don't know if they have a set plan on how they're going to do it. But the only thing I know for sure in my heart, you have to start Cutler.
All right, you just ticked me off. You want to know why?
Sure.
Because if I said it early in the week, you'd be honest, and I would say I said it early in the week. And when you said that, I said, why didn't I think of that first? I agree with you 1,000,000%. If you start Zach Calzada, they're going to boo like crazy. Gosh,
yes, they are.
You beat me
Which
to
is
it.
unfortunate because it's not directed at him.
Right.
But the guy won't know that. All he'll hear is the boos raining down. And, the 100-man roster, every one of them will hear it.
Even if he has a feel, that's what it is. And please, people don't say because he's a 24-year-old kid. No, a 40-year-old.
I know. I know.
People say, well, he's a kid. Stop it. Anybody would. Yeah. That's a great comment, Carl. And do you think they would consider starting Cutler so he doesn't get booed? Do you think Stoops thinks of, because he's such a meat and potato guy? I don't know either. Gosh darn it.
I don't know. Yeah, you can argue. I can see that playing out either way. You say, well, he's been the starter. We'll leave him as starter, and we're just going to get Cutler into the game. If you do, you're misreading the tea leaves horribly. Well, and this is a bigger picture issue with me because I think you've got to go with Cutler. You've got to get away from this grad student transfer quarterback every single year. It's not working. And you need a 3-year quarterback who then feeds into another 3-year quarterback, and you fill your transfer portal everywhere else. But you've got to get some solid play at your quarterback position, not reinventing it every single year.
Can I slightly?
He's struggling. He's struggling a little bit because he came from a spread offense for the last 2 years, and now he's in a pro set. Yeah, he's going to struggle a little bit.
That's also a great point because it's different. Let me slightly disagree with you.
Yeah, completely different.
Okay, sure. Let me disagree. So One of the things that I philosophically disagree with, because something hasn't worked, people automatically say, don't do it again. Hang with me a second, Daryl. The kid is quarterback for Tennessee. I love him.
Yep.
From a lower level.
And so it does work everywhere else except Lexington. I'll give you
that. Touche.
Yeah.
And I'm not disrespecting the kids they brought in, but they didn't bring in the right kids. And I wonder if they could. Look, Tennessee has a better shot at getting a better transfer quarterback than Kentucky. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay,
but we also kept hearing that Bush hand-picked Calzada, so I don't know. Maybe that's what you say when that's the only one you can get.
How about this? Is it possible, and I don't know this, okay, that he handpicked Calzada because 4 of the guys turned him down?
Possible. Never know.
Look, one of the things that Bush is getting destroyed with, he's a smart guy. I think sometimes he's smart for his own good, and I want to get into that in a second. But if Zach Calzada was his first choice, I'll shave my goatee.
Yeah.
And by the way,
I think you're probably right.
Most of the time, the person, it's like the old job about coaches. Rarely is a coach you hire the first choice, whether it's Mark or Rich Brooks. I mean, that's just the way life is. It's almost that. Come on, Sam Newton, you know the story. He asked Mike Krzyzewski if he wanted to coach. So
true.
I would be almost shocked beyond belief if Zach Calzada was his first choice.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So
let's say Bush looked at like 15 guys, probably more, and he narrowed down to 10 and 7 or whatever the heck it was. If he was his first choice, you pick a lunch spot anywhere in town. Now, here's the other thing is, would he say it and not mean it because you don't want to demean the kid? I'm not trying to get out of buying lunch, but would you say to the kid, you don't want to demean it? Well, you were my first choice. I don't think anybody would believe. Would you? And I'm not knocking him.
Probably not. No. That's fair.
All right.
I didn't have a big problem with him when he's the one they got. I was like, okay, the kid did well at A&M a long time ago. He knocked off Alabama, so there's something there. It's just been a very interesting path after that to get back to where he is. And I was hoping, rejuvenated and reinvented himself at Incarnate Word the last 2 years, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know that it's over yet, but we'll see how it goes.
So I've run this theory. I've been talking about this all week, and I ran it by Gene Abel. I want to run it by you. You ready?
Sure.
You've seen this in basketball. I learned this in the 1980s. Gene Abel agreed with me that he learned it from basketball players too. So you have a kid, he's very often, every year they get better and better, and now you're a senior and you don't keep on improving. I've seen this firsthand. You have too, where a kid now is in his last year playing basketball at Kentucky and not taking that next step up, because I sincerely believe it has everything to do with the pressure that's going on to play in the NBA, and it's a different kind of pressure. And I'm telling you, from what little tape I saw, so I got to be honest about it, with little tape I saw, he wasn't not stepping up in the pocket. He's doing things now. It's like he's created bad habits that he didn't have last year. That is, he's indecisive. You can't throw for a gazillion yards like he did in Incarnate. Yeah. I don't care if it's a different level. Habits is a habit. He's gotten into habits. There's there's no way he would have done that last year, because if he did, he wouldn't be here. And so I really believe this kid, because he's going to be 25 and he's a long shot to play in the NFL, that he's feeling pressure. I really sincerely believe that, and I'm not backing down from it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, he's talked often about this is, I've worked my way back to here. Here's my shot to go, basically to prove I belong in the SEC. If you belong in the SEC, you belong to at least get a shot at the next level. If you can play well in this league, you'll get your turn. And I'm sure that's some of it. But I think that's also part of the adjustment that's still going on. If they'd won the other night, and he still played the way he did, nobody would be having this conversation, but they didn't. He's 2 games into a new system under a new coordinator, and he ain't at Incarnate Word anymore. What's open at Incarnate Word is not open at the SEC, and you have to throw it anyway. You have to have faith in your receiver. You're going to get to that spot, and I'm going to throw it. So you better be there. And you don't. You wait for him to get open, and it's not going to happen. You're going to end up taking a sack or scrambling out of the pocket and throwing it away. It's just a world of difference at this level. There's no comparison. The incarnate word and a receiver trying to get open against SEC defensive backs. And I think that's part of the problem. He said, well, the receivers aren't open. Yeah, you're right. They are. You just have to trust that there will be by the time the ball arrives.
You think
or you trust the guy to win the 50-50 battle and go get it.
Well, he threw a pass in the end zone that was an awful pass that could have easily been an interception. He just threw it up. You know, it's one thing to throw it up. You're accurate towards your receiver, and then you want the receiver to go make a play. I'm good with that. It doesn't work out, but I'm good with that. He threw a ball in the end zone. There were 3 defenders around, and I couldn't tell who the hell he was throwing it to. And I wasn't the only one. To me, that's an uptight throw versus, you're okay, Daryl, you're the wideout, go up and jump and get it. So I think he's uptight, and I'm sorry. And he seems like a lovely kid, and with his family, Cuba, and the fact that he respects his grandparents, what they did to sacrifice. Who doesn't love stories like that? And how do you not root for a young man like that? I mean, I love it. But you know what?
And let's be fair. Go ahead.
Yeah.
He caught some bad breaks. His first long pass play to J.J. Hesser was a beauty.
Yes, it was.
His elbow was out of bounds. His touchdown pass to Kendrick Law in the back of the end zone, his foot slid into the white area out of bounds before he caught it. Bad break. There were, the long run and fumble, Willie Rodriguez. Josh Caddis couldn't win the 50-50 ball. Those 4 work out. His numbers look much better. He got off to a really unfortunate start in that regard. A lot of bad luck on those and just a hair difference. And suddenly it's like, he can throw the ball pretty good.
Well, and if he does that, obviously
that's just the way it goes, though.
Yes, it's tough. Up tremendously. Obviously, you agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, let me throw one more pass at you, and I don't remember who the wide receiver is. I'm sorry, but he threw a long pass in the left corner of the end zone, and the receiver. I'm sorry, I don't remember who, but the Toledo defender held him up legally, and he threw a quick pass because it was still inbounds. It was really pretty. As most fans understand, when you throw a ball that high, you got to release it early. Love the throw. And I'm watching from the press box, and I'm going, that's a pretty throw. That's not his fault. The receiver couldn't get there. Plus the pass interference penalty, which was just horrendous that they didn't call it. So I think
that was on Kendrick Law, I think. Yeah, you're right.
Had he completed half of what you said, okay, let's say.
But nobody remembers that. What they remember is 4th and 8 or whatever, and he threw the thing out of bounds where nobody could catch it.
Yeah,
that's what the fans remember.
Well, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. Yeah, you just wonder what kid's feeling, kid. I'm sorry, he's 24 years old. Would be had he completed some of those, and might his juices gone up tremendously. So it's all.
Yeah, confidence would have built. Fans would have been okay, and then we might not be sitting where we are, but we are.
Anything else going?
Still, 10 more games to go? A long season.
10 or is it 9? Or am I not adding right?
Well, they played 2.
I can't add. Usually
10 to 12. It's the double bye. That's what's throwing you off.
I'm looking and go. I'm myself internally instead of on the air.
Yeah.
You want to point out another mistake? Please have at it. Because
no, we're good.
No. I'm glad you pointed it out. No filter is no filter. Carol,
I got my quota.
You got your no. There's no quotas. Both ways. I mean, I think that's one of the comments I get about the show is you're not afraid to rip yourself, especially when you do something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm not going to add it up again. What else about Kentucky sports? And then I got one more question for you that's in your cranium.
What else about Kentucky sports?
It's something that you're passionate about. Is there anything else?
No, it's this whole quarterback deal is the big one because we've seen it play out so many seasons. Say they both go off, have huge games. Is the problem fixed, or is it because Eastern Michigan was terrible? I don't know. And I get a bye week to think about it before you go to South Carolina and to Georgia. And are you right back where you started if you're not careful? But they got to, to me at least, if I'm coaching that group, I got to have an answer before I go to South Carolina.
Couldn't agree
I
with
don't
you.
think I want to be rotating quarterbacks in Columbia.
Well, not only that, you want the quarterback to get the reps with the first team.
Yes, exactly.
And the
Yeah, very true. Very true.
And how many times have you seen it where, you got the established quarterback and that kind of stuff, and then they use the week before you get serious about the next opponent, getting the backups. I say,
yeah.
If it's Cutler, he gets all the snaps. I don't care who you rest. He gets all the main snaps next week. And then when you're obviously you've got your whole game plan and you do it then on top of it. He needs snaps. He needs snaps. He needs snaps. He needs snaps. Last one.
They have atrocious history of coming off bye weeks too.
Yes. Somebody will come up with the record. Really, 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 really.
It's not good.
No. This new practice facility thing. One, we don't know if it's going to happen. Two, I'm going to guess it will. Right. And three, there were some people saying, where it's going to be and that kind of stuff. I'm dropping back. And, I know we're supposed to have opinions all the time, and I think that's pretty stupid at times because let them come up with a plan. You have some really smart people coming up with a plan, and I'm minded to say, these people are smarter than me. I might not like it when I see it, but I might love it when I see it. And I see some criticism going, what the heck am I to criticize? We don't know enough. Like, it might be.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
We don't know. So you know what? These are really smart people. I think people need to take a step back. We have no idea if they're going to come up with the money. I really think they really believe they will. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come this far. But
they wouldn't have gone public with it. Yeah.
Right. So I think they know. Things sometimes fall through the cracks. And it could be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I don't think they have any idea. And I like how Mitch put it. It's no idea. But I'm open-minded. This could be a spectacular thing for the university. Could be absolutely spectacular. So jump to a conclusion makes no sense whatsoever. This could make Kentucky kind of like a Taj Mahal organization for all sports.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. It's unfortunately the life we live in right now is you have to react instantly and most often negatively. That's just the way things are in this crazy world right now. But I'm with you. I do have the question of where are you going to put it?
Go ahead.
I have a request. I don't care where you put it.
Okay.
Build a parking garage with it because there's nowhere to park down there as it is now for those of us who schlep around, try to circle the place for an hour trying to find a spot. So add a parking garage to your little wish list there when you build this thing. I like the idea. It's kind of flew under the radar. If they make this move, then the entire Kraft Center complex, Memorial Coliseum included, becomes an all-women's sports place that would be gorgeous, and that would be great, I think.
I agree with you, but you know why I'm laughing? I don't know how many Kentuckians heard use the word schlep.
Good point.
Daryl, that's very, I'm not saying I didn't think you didn't have, please, I'm not going there, Daryl. That's a lot of culture, schlep in the state of Kentucky.
You know what I mean.
I don't know. I think you don't see me on YouTube bowing to you right now.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's absolutely great. And I thought you'd be open-minded too. I hear some people say, well, what do you get?
Let them try it. Let them go for it.
Sometimes it's okay not to have an opinion.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like we can adjust to what we see, and it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, of course, I'm in that camp of if you're going to spend that much money, just move out of Rupp Arena and build the entire thing all in one place. Practice facility and game facility and suites and the whole, but they're way too far down the road on that one. It's just that,
the contract.
$2 million a year to rent Rupp Arena? Good grief. Come on.
Yeah, but don't they have a long contract? I'm trying to remember what it is.
It's too far down the road. I shouldn't even brought it up because it's not even on the table or a possibility at this stage.
Right, but
they've sunk way too much money down there to back out now.
But who is going to allow you to back out? They're not going to let you back
Nobody.
out.
No, So, and they're saddled with you have to help save downtown Lexington too, or preserve it, not save it.
Yeah,
I mean, it has blown up around Rupp Arena down. It's a really pretty area down through. I think it's where the distillery is and the Burl and all that down that old Frankfort Pike's turned in a really nice area.
The only thing I'll be shocked in all this if the Kentucky Wildcats, before the contract is up, they end up playing someplace else because of money. That's just me.
Yeah. Oh.
Mr. Bird, give yourself a great plug for your organization.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we are 2 issues into our 50th year, which just blows my mind that that's even possible. But yeah, Oscar started it in 1976, and here we are. I saw Oscar a couple years ago. I said, "How you doing?" He said, "Just get me to 50." I said, "Well, you got it. We'll get you to 50 and then some." And so he's like, "I was just praying I didn't go broke the first 3 years, and here you are dragging it across the 50-yard line at 50 years." So that's pretty neat. And you can find it all. Like I said earlier, shopcatspaws.com is the easiest way to find every product that we have.
Hey, man, as always, I really appreciate your time. And I hope I didn't schlep you to the phone.
We're good.
I appreciate you, Daryl. Thank you.
We are good. All right, man. Take care.
Jimmy, schlep from a Kentuckian. I've lived. How many times have you heard the word schlep?
Not very many that I can even think of one, actually.
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe once.
I mean, it's kind of a New York thing that really comes from Eastern Europe, and I'm not going to go into it, that kind of stuff. It's very worldly of Daryl. I tell you what can help you out a lot, Terry Page. Terry Page. She's still got the big, beautiful deal going on. Book an appointment, get $5 off your next appointment. And when you leave, if you book two more, you'll get $10 off those appointments in succession. And if you want to just talk to her to see, hey, how can she help me? Because she's been great for me. Text her or call her. 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578. She's been absolutely wonderful for me. I've been very lucky to have found her. It's absolutely been a blessing for me. So hit www.naturalhealingandpainrelief.com to set up an appointment too. www.easy-to-remember-naturalhealingandpainrelief.com. Thank you, Daryl Bird. Thank you, Gene Abel. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313, 859-381-1313. Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrell family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties.
Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Down, set, hack. Corn dogs coming in for the blitz.
Rick, what are you doing?
Brent, I'm practicing my snack plays for the next football game.
Well, in that case, Uncle Rick, stop by any Clark Stop and Shop and pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Uncle Ray's potato chips, 8-ounce bags, 2 for $6.
Don't get sidelined without your supplies this football season. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
I mean, yeah, they both definitely go different. I think it's just we got to be comfortable with both of them because that's why, regardless of who's starting the game, we throw with both of them all throughout practice, all throughout camp. We kind of get used to both of them. They get used to us. So I think that regardless of whoever is in, that we can trust whichever quarterback goes in. You know what I'm saying?
Like that comment from Macklin. He's a very mature young man. And I really thought when he came in last year, he was going to really push for a lot more catches than he did. I was actually, everything that happened last year that I was surprised that didn't happen. I didn't think he was going to get more receptions than Key or Brown, but I thought he'd be number 3 and a closer number 3 than a lot of people thought, and I was wrong. The quarterback is da-da-da-da-da. That's an often comment, and most of the time, I think it's a bunch of blank, blank, blank. I'm not ripping Law. I'm just saying a lot of kids don't want to say something that'll be controversial or slip and then say one guy is better than another. Macklin has been around here a little bit longer, and I think he's very comfortable in his own skin, and they do throw different balls, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, and look, every wideout's happy to catch from either one of them. You know, and I remember when Jared Lorenzo was here, it's kind of like, you better catch it because he can throw like a gazillion miles an hour. And yet the guys were happy to do it. They just want to make sure they didn't mess their fingers up and stuff like that. So I really like that comment. Jimmy, let's go to clip number 8. So a lot of the issues, it's a really good comment by Macklin, that sometimes guys don't line up right. And I know they practice it. This is a really, really good comment about how this kind of thing can happen and the concentration and trying to remember all the little things.
So sometimes on some of our splits and sometimes some of our plays, the formation, we'll know like, okay, either the outside guy is on the ball or the inside guy is on the ball. But then there's sometimes where it's a little iffy and sometimes you're just so worried about the game, your route, because the people understand we got to go line up. We got to get the play first, get the formation, line up. We got to think about our responsibility. And sometimes we don't even think about the ref of like, hey, are we on the ball sometimes because everything else is going on. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes like I did it today at practice. Like I was, like coach was holding on that all today and I get in there, I mess up. And I'm like, dang, like I forgot because I was listening to my coach from the sideline say, hey, scoot out a little bit. Once he told me to scoot out, I then lost focus of, hey, I got to check with the ref that I'm on. But it's all good. I like making mistakes. And, you know, coaches, they aren't mad at us for that, but they're just making sure that we're really honing in on that small thing.
Jimmy, as a wide receiver, do you love that comment? I mean, it's open, it's honest. He really is very descriptive how it could happen. Now, try this. There's 60,000 people in the stands, and you're yelling and screaming and stuff like that. I can see how that happens. I'm not ripping Macklin for it. I think at times, even those who watch football forever can negate the fact of all the things that these young people have to instantly react to. They don't have time to think. They have to do it naturally, and that's how mistakes happen. But the Saturday mistakes were a little different. I'm not really talking about that. But you can see how this can happen, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why when you take a step back and when there are dumb penalties, someone jumps off sides or, you know, you get a false start on the offensive line because they don't remember it's on 2. Think of all those things that he just said. Like, that's what every player has to do before every play on offense. Now, shouldn't make it okay. That's where the coaching aspect comes in of take care of the little things and the big things take care of themselves. But I love that he was that honest because I don't think many fans really think about it. You're like, oh, how easy is it? It's one thing. How do you forget to do that? It's the first thing you do. Make sure you're on or off the ball. But that's exactly what's going through your head.
If he would catch more balls, he'd be demanded or requested by the media, not some, but all the time. I want to switch to baseball for a minute or two. I love Hal McCoy's latest column. And so Pete Rose in Hal's column said he met 7 presidents. Yet when he spoke to Babe Ruth's daughter, he was absolutely flabbergasted. And by talking to Babe Ruth's daughter, gave him more pressure than what? Than talking to any of the presidents. And Hal had told this story a couple months ago on the air when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Babe Ruth's daughter went up to him and asked Hal for his autograph. And he's basically saying, well, wait a second, I should be asking for your autograph. But look, it's not like I was close friends with Pete, but I knew Pete, like Pete knows everybody. And he's one of the most confident, cocky athletes you will ever find. If that's your perception, it's absolutely correct. Quote, I've met 7 presidents, and I'm sitting there thinking, this is Babe Ruth's daughter, and that was amazing to me. One of my best days. One of my best days. It's an old quote that Hal had at the time. Here's another one from Pete. Let me tell you something. When I was talking to her, and I've appeared in front of several federal judges, it was interesting, Jimmy, that he came up with that. I was more nervous talking to Babe Ruth's daughter than any person I've met in my life. Whoa! Whoa! And you know, one of the things about Pete, if you forget about all the off stuff, he was really no filter. And probably sometimes he shouldn't have been so no filter. Neither here nor there. But that's a great comment. And the fact that Babe Ruth's daughter said that Babe would have loved how he played. Is that good or what? Does that make you feel good?
That would have to be, I don't know what the best compliment you could ever get is, but that's got to be up there with one of those. It's just got to make you feel good.
So the gentleman with the great nickname in Seattle, the Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh, hits his 50th home run. First catcher to ever hit 50 in a season, I think many of you know. Got a bunch of congratulatory texts. You know what was really cool? One of them was from Johnny Bench. Bench hit 45. And he said he did meet him one time. He shook hands with him, and his quote, engulfed mine. And Jimmy, I know you've seen the shot when he put 7 baseballs in one hand. It's a famous Sports Illustrated and that kind of thing. Am I surprised Johnny Bench was so gracious? Absolutely. Unequivocally not. Not. And by the way, he questions this, and I'm for it. Ohio State was up 35-0 at the half against Grambling State. Okay, what was it, 70-0 or something like that? And I get it. Grambling needs the money. I don't blame him for that. All schools do. But I sometimes wonder if you're Grambling and you're playing Ohio State that you get beat up so bad. I've had coaches tell me this. We need to check, but we hope our kids don't get beat up so much that they can't play in conference. And I don't know. You can't legislate this and that kind of thing. But some of those games I think shouldn't be played. I really do. Jimmy, I think it's awful. And by the way, I'm not picking on Grambling, but there's lots of schools like Grambling. I don't think it's fair. I think you're asking kids to do something that they just, frankly, cannot do. I think it's absolutely awful. And it bothers me that they do it. And I get it's all about money, but why? Why? There has to be a better way. And I'll end with this. I really didn't know LIU played football. They're coached by Ron Cooper, the former Louisville coach. And if Eastern Michigan can't beat LIU, it's going to be a massacre on Saturday. So I hope Kentucky gets great stats. They're probably going to get over 500 yards. Cutler will probably play great. And it's a nice, easy, feel-good thing. And then let the young man have all the big snaps leading up to the next one. Because you know what? They beat South Carolina. This whole thing has changed not a little, but tremendously. They're halfway home to a bowl game. Jimmy, as always, thank you very much. Big thank you to Gene Abel. Big thank you to Daryl Bird. Always fun talking to them. Have yourself a blessed day. Count your blessing. And please, 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 I pray in this country we can learn to disagree civilly without violence. Please. Brad Taylor coming up next. Matthew and Jimmy at 10. I'll be back tomorrow. Count your blessings.